you and I were talking about separations, gender separations. What do you think of statements like Michelle Obama made recently that America is not ready for a female president? Do we have as much gender strife?
Yeah.
Underpaid, women are underpaid compared to men.
Yeah.
Is that something that we need to take on more seriously as men?
Look, I think there are two things happening with regard to the gender stress and strife. If you look at the younger generation, the women are actually outperforming the men across the board.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to mental health, when it comes to education, when it comes to income attainment. That's going to be a mess because most women are heterosexual and they're going to want a heterosexual partner that can keep up, and our young men are falling behind. So there's an emergency there. How do we get our young men to be able to step up and not be pushovers and not be predators, but to be protectors,
right.
To be good, strong men who, I didn't say good, strong life forms, good, strong, good, strong men. You've got to be able to say, as a progressive, we want you to be a good, strong man without that seeming sexist. Because we want you to be a good, strong woman.
Right.
But that's a whole thing that has to get sorted out. But with the older crowd, I think that women do face headwinds that they should not be facing. Whether you're a Hillary Clinton, whether you're a Kamala Harris or whatever, there were headwinds that they were facing. There's no perfect candidate. Certainly Kamala herself wouldn't say she's a perfect candidate. But there were moments in the campaign where I thought Trump was getting away with being lawless and she was expected to be flawless. And I thought that was unfair. And so these are real issues. I mean, what I will say is that for me, I have tried to use my access to the technology world to try to create some AI tools to help people get along better. We launched something called workbettertogether.ai. Workbettertogether.ai, where we actually have AI tools to help humans be kinder to humans. I think that's very important. I've been working to try to mend this rift between the Black world and the Jewish world. There are a lot of rifts and things that need to be healed. I have a special passion for healing that because for 100+ years, Black people had such few allies, and Jewish people disproportionately stepped up to help us in our moments of stress and strife. Now, Black folks and Jews disagree about a bunch of stuff. Foreign policy, DEI, and a whole bunch of other stuff. We've never always gotten along about everything, but we've always been able to find some way to help each other. And I don't want to live in a world where now we're just enemies of people who our parents were friends. That's not a good outcome. So I do work very hard behind the scenes. A lot of people see me as a guy on CNN who sometimes says stuff they don't like. That's their whole relationship with me. And I just live with that.
And you cross the line.
Yes.
You'll work with Republicans and Democrats. I mean, you were involved with opportunity zones.
Yes, sir.
You took a whole lot of heat for that. I started to bring a fan and set it on your front porch to kind of cool that down a little bit. But we did end up with some changes in our communities, and we are still ending up with some changes in our communities. Would you like to see that program continue and flourish?
Look, here's the reality. We have two parties in our country, but we only have one set of children. And our grandchildren look a little bit different than our grandparents. You go to an old folks home, you see a lot more white folks. You go to a kindergarten, you see a bunch of Black and brown folks. So our grandchildren look a little bit different than our grandparents, but they're still our children. They're all our children. And you have two political parties. If only one party had all the answers and all the votes, you wouldn't have to talk to the other one. But it turns out both parties have some problems and both problems have some solutions, and neither party has all the votes. So if you care about the children and you put them first, you'll look for every possible opportunity to work with someone. And then if you have to fight them, then you fight them. We're doing it the opposite. We look for every opportunity to fight. And by the time we get through fighting, we don't even want to work together. And so I disagree with that. I decline. I don't want to participate in that. And I'm willing to be criticized. I'm going to tell you something. The willingness to be criticized is, I think, the biggest superpower that we can have now. Human beings were designed to be in groups of about 30, 40, 50 people. We were not designed, and so we were designed to get feedback from about 30, 40, 50 people, maybe 100 people. No human being was designed to get feedback from 3 million people at once. And so when you get that flood of negative feedback in your comments, on Twitter, it is the natural reaction of any human mind to withdraw and to say, well, I'm never going to say anything controversial. I'm going to hide my truth. I'm just going to shut up. The problem with that is then your truth never gets to be heard or corrected. Now you hold on to your truth, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, and so does everybody else. Now you have isolation, depression, loneliness. What I've decided is my worst day on Twitter is better than anybody's best day in federal prison.
Right.
My worst day on Twitter is better than anybody's best day on a Native American reservation or in a housing project. The people that Jesus referred to as the least of these, the addicted, the evicted, the addicted, the convicted, the poorly depicted. The least of these have a worse day than I'm ever going to have. I'm willing to face criticism to stand up for what I believe in and try to move the needle toward less hate and more hope.
They're giving me a signal. I got to wrap up.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you one final question. Two groups that we didn't talk about that I think need discussion and very seldom hit the radar is we have more baby boomers living now than we've ever had in the history of the world. So as we do all of this planning for the future, we have to plan for a family unit that's going to look a lot different.
Yes.
It's going to have multiple generations. So if you want to be successful in business, either open a senior living complex or a nursery.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Either one of them are flourishing better than the other one. And do we include a strategy for both? Because we can't put grandpa on the front porch anymore.
Yeah. Look, I think that part of the challenge we have right now is that we have 5 generations now in the workforce. That's never happened before. We have the boomers, the Xers, the millennials, the Z, and now Alpha starting to poke their little heads up there when they become influencers and they have jobs. So hold on a second. This is, we've never had to manage that as a species before. So I think that's important. And I think that the pressure that's going to come on the system because of the need for elder care will push society in a better direction when it comes to the government and corporations trying to deal with healthcare. I think it's inevitable. Whether you get health care for all or but there will be a better system than we have now because of that. And surprise, surprise, the baby boomers have been changing American politics since they were born.
Right.
they changed
they vote.
But even just their numbers, they changed our elementary system, our college system, our politics, and now they're going to change the way that people exit the scene as well.
I could talk to you all night.
Too.
Thank you so much for being here.
I want to say to you on your podcast what I said on stage. You are a global treasure. There are human beings right now who are alive today that would have taken themselves out of the game. They were at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom, and they heard your voice. And they are walking around here today because of you. There are people who are in prison right now who are listening to your voice and have hope. There are babies who woke up this morning in a house. Mama was there and daddy was there. They did not get that divorce because one or the other heard your voice and gave it one more chance. There are people who have businesses who you have personally helped, but you've helped so many people you don't even remember their names that are now literally millionaires. There are very few people in the world who have done as much good as you have done with a human voice. Like you said, you're not out there tap dancing, twirling fire hoses and whatever. Just literally your voice has been a healing balm for the entire world. And I love you and I want you to get that from me directly eyeball to eyeball.
Wow.
And I'm speaking for millions.